And we do radio and bond shows. Of course, we also do our own podcast on Spotify, YouTube, if you ever want to watch our videos. You can also catch us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn, where we post our events. So this year, very quickly, we are doing a charity event for men and women's fastest football tournament on the 8th of April. We've got a family 5K walk in the park on the 15th of April. And got a trek to Kinder Scout, as well as an Amsterdam long distance cycle, which can take about 150 miles. Inshallah, all of this is in aid of charity. We're raising money for Turkey and Syria, as well as other impoverished countries. Thank you for Radio Ramadan. 5 years on the radio. It's been a long time. Alhamdulillah, we've been here for 5 years. Do you know what? We must have done something right for them to keep us on for 5 years, right? What do you think, Zeyn?
Definitely, man. You guys are doing some awesome work, man. I still remember the day you first launched.
Yeah, we actually met in the cafe. Literally the day we launched, I met you there at the cafe. You were with Sully. And to think 5 years on, alhamdulillah, we're here, still doing things. Now, of course, today's show is going to be about giving back to the world. And I've been following your work for a very long time. Back when you started as a personal trainer, all the way to where you are now, mashallah.
That's ancient.
A very long time. We've been following you for a very long time. Alhamdulillah, because you're obviously good friends with Sully as well. I've seen what you've been doing, and mashallah, you've done some phenomenal work. Every time I see your stories, I have to make sure I watch through every single one, see what you're doing. So, do you know when we had this show coming on, me and Sully, we brainstormed a couple of people, and your name's one of the first ones to come up, and we're like, all right, I want him on the show. So if Sully couldn't get you on the show, you are my first guest. And alhamdulillah, I'm glad you're here. So I want you to introduce yourself, sort of your background, what you've done, and then also give us something interesting, an interesting fact about you that not many people know. If they don't follow you on social media, they don't know who you are, an interesting fact that they'll want to know about you.
So, long story short, and I think this will probably resonate a lot with sort of what you preach, but I went to university, graduated. I wasn't really sort of fulfilled with what I was doing. And I mean, for context, I studied chemistry. And
I would not think that looking at you, bro. Honestly.
I studied chemistry at university, and everyone gets shocked, honestly. And then I started working in corporate consultancy. I was working in IT. Soon after, I ended up launching ZeynFit.com, which is a personal training company. And from there, I just, and then that's where sort of everything kind of started. From then on, I've launched quite a few companies, quite a few projects I'm currently working on right now as well. But yeah, an interesting fact is in 2019, I went with a group who cycled from London to Medina. It took us 2 months.
Wow.
60 days and 2 months. Yeah, man.
I actually want to do that, you know. I'm starting off light. I'm cycling to Amsterdam first.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's something we're doing in August, 25th to 29th. If you want to come along with us as well, just for the vibes.
Oh, man.
Me, Sully, SA, the 3 watt plants. And we're also going to try to get a couple guys on. Once it's confirmed, we want people to join along with our ride. So obviously, if it's interest, if you just want to come for a little holiday, you know what I mean? It's a light cycle for you. It's only going to take 2 days.
Why not? Let's see. Quite possibly.
Inshallah. All right. So, of course, you said that you have set up a few companies. You had ZeynFit.com. Obviously, that's something where you have to give back to people. You have to, obviously, you're helping people become a happier version of themselves. But what does giving back mean to you? And why is it important? Why is it like one of the main staples in everything you do? Because I look at, there's a common theme in everything, every business you've got, there's a common theme. You're serving the people. You're doing something that the people need. Now, why is that so important to you, and why is it one of your main focuses?
So, I mean, naturally, as an entrepreneur, you've got to be a problem solver, right? And for me, I'm really passionate about seeing people happy, seeing the values I have as a person, how I could sort of resonate this in them as well. So, for example, when I launched ZeynFit.com, it was something where I went through a transformation myself, a lot of weight myself, and I thought, how can I share this to people that follow me and give them that advice essentially, so they can do it themselves. So it first started off as a hobby. I was sharing some stuff on social media, and eventually turned into a business. But I was always important on the fact that every part of everything we launch through social media, through our website, through anything that we do, value is very, very important. Value is essentially one of the core fundamentals of everything that we do. And I feel, even as a marketer right now myself, I always emphasize people that share value, share tips, help people, support people. Not only does it build trust between people, but it also helps people understand what you're really about as well. But I think generally, just in terms of giving back, right? It when it comes to sort of understanding sort of why we are in this world, why we are here today as well, I feel in the past I've seen sort of selfish individuals, right? And they've always tried to sort of take something from people and leave. Whereas I've always thought, okay, cool. I'd love to share my knowledge with people. I'd love to sort of give them an idea and understanding of like who I really am as a person, how I can help.
Yeah. And you do that really well. In everything you do, there's a touch of Zeyn Lambat on it, man. I can tell. I can see.
Off. It's just getting a bit warm.
All right. So one thing I like really loved when I saw in your story was how you're always abroad in different countries where there's people that need, of course, that they need our help. But you're always there, front line. You're there to give that experience, to give a helping hand, and you spread the word really, really well. So how is it that you got involved in, of course, in this work, and why is that work so important to you?
So once I launched ZeynFit.com, I really became interested in marketing and video production, and that's essentially what I do full-time right now. So I produce films, I love telling stories, and I love telling impactful stories as well. So once I got more interested in the production side of things, fortunately, I got a lot of opportunities to travel, alhamdulillah. And a lot of people look at my story, they're like, oh, how are you always traveling? Where'd you get this money from? I'm like, you know what? Fortunately, it's work for me, and it's given me so many blessings just to see so many different parts of the world, see the struggles that people are going through and how we're so fortunate. But yeah, I mean, fortunately, I've been blessed to have a lot of charity clients. Within the clients, I've been able to travel to countries such as Uganda, to Malawi. I've been to, most recently, I was in Lebanon as well. And I mean, being there firsthand really gives you a good opportunity to understand the struggles people are going through. I mean, I understand sort of aid workers, they go out there, they give aid, but I feel I get an opportunity to really understand these individual stories. So when I'm capturing their stories, when I'm filming them, I really delve down and ask them really personal questions. And yeah, I think it just makes you realize how fortunate we are in life. And on a day-to-day basis, we don't realize how fortunate we are. Like, for example, when I see people coming up to me, they're like, Zeyn, you're so lucky. But I'm like, you don't see the other side of traveling. You're literally exhausted, living out a suitcase. But now, alhamdulillah, man, grateful for everything.
Alhamdulillah. You've done some really good work, and you got a couple of videos of when you're there and you're taking time out when you're not working, you're actually spending time with the people, and you're obviously making sure that you can put smiles on their faces. And one thing that's really super impactful is you're spreading that word really, really well. And like, your work is well known. I'm sure most people listening as well have heard of either your work or I've seen a video that you've produced as well. So mashallah, your impact is huge. So the next question is, what things have you done in your life to give back in the world?
So what things have I done? Good question, actually.
Away from work or anything else, because obviously you've got the opportunities, you've done it. Even in your work alone, you've been able to impact lives. Give us some.
So it's weird because I'm someone that always follow your passion, do what makes you happy, right? I know you've said not in work, but
your work.
Yeah. So right now, essentially, my work is my passion. Like, I get so many questions from people that you're doing something different today. I'm like, I'm just trying to follow my passion and do what makes me happy. But yeah, I mean, most recently, I'm working on a project in Zanzibar, and we're doing experiences and adventures to Zanzibar. But what we've done that's quite core about that experience, we're actually working with a local village in Zanzibar. So we're trying to sort of take like a different twist to travel. So rather than people traveling somewhere, going on to like sort of, say, charity deployments as well, for example, we've tried to combine that. And we've brought Zanzibar in the equation. Now, what we're doing in Zanzibar is quite cool. There's a little aspect of itinerary. We work with a local village called Dijani, And the village has nothing, has such a huge population of children there, and it has a very dated school. So we're taking travelers with us to sign up to our adventures, and we take them out there. And rather than fundraising or fundraising online and collecting money from family, we're giving you guys the opportunity to go out there and build this school yourself. So I'm going to be there myself. My colleagues are going to all be there, and we're all going to be doing this together. So I feel it's really impactful that, say in 10, 15 years' time, one of these children come up to you, they're like, oh, I'm a doctor now, I'm a lawyer, or I could be anything. Essentially, you can be anything you want to be, but the stem of it was you being out there and building this school with your own bare hands. So that's something which I've done probably most recently. It's a project I've been working on. I was actually out in Zanzibar last week, just got back a few days ago, just working and making sure, that everything's in place. But yeah, it's something that's really interesting for me right now.
MashaAllah. Yeah, that's blown my mind, because I've seen it myself, but hearing it in person from yourself, I can see the passion in your eyes. It made me smile, bro. MashaAllah, Mubarak.
Thank you, man.
So how does it make you feel when you do this stuff?
No, definitely. I think it's very important to do something purposeful in life. And I feel I always want to wake up every morning knowing that I've helped someone. And alhamdulillah, like when I first started out working on projects, leaving my full-time job, you have that anxiety that where am I going to get my money from? I've got a mortgage now. How am I going to pay for my house? Or, how am I going to put food on the table? And I think when you do offer services where you're transforming people's lives in a positive way, it could be anything. It could be something small, and it could be something major. It does give you a massive sense of purpose. And I think when you do follow that motto in life, God gives you everything, man. And through things that I do, there's some aspects of projects I do where we're majorly sort of solving problems and giving back to people. Some maybe not so much. We're probably feeding people calories through the Halal Food Festival project that we do. But yeah, I think it definitely makes you feel awesome, man.
MashaAllah. See, I look at the businesses and I see, MashaAllah, how you've got involved in everything that is Islamic in a sense. Like, obviously a lot of the businesses you work with and a lot of the work you do is very, very Islamic. Now, is that like an important factor for you with your business, or is it just something that's come about from obviously the people you know?
Good question. So I didn't plan on having a very sort of Islamic sort of audience and a lot of Islamic clients, but alhamdulillah, again, I think it's something that God just gives you, because sometimes, like, naturally when you start as a business, and it might be sort of not so positive to say this, but you think, oh, if I just work within like the Islamic sector, will I get enough to sort of pay for my bills, etc. But you know what? Alhamdulillah, it's something that God's given me. I've been able to sort of be blessed with a lot of Islamic clients. And that's obviously stemmed on sort of other projects that I've launched where we've kept a full Islamic core fundamental to it as well. So it's been a massive blessing.
Talking about one of them, the food festival, mashallah, I went to that. It was phenomenal. So in terms of that, you're kind of giving back to the people and bringing a community of, and firstly, you're helping like businesses grow, and especially that halal food businesses grow. But you're also bringing that to the community and allowing them to have enjoyment and be able to find out about new businesses. Now, something that's quite crucial to me, and in a lot of what even Waves of Positivity does, is how can we make our community stronger? And that's something you guys are doing. Tell me a bit more about that. What's your aims?
Yeah, so the food festival, that was initially actually founded by two good friends of mine, Bilal and Nouri. I later joined them just to sort of help grow the project. But I think, again, I joined this project again because it was Bilal's sort of idea just to help build the whole community cohesion. He felt that in Leicester, it was lacking that sort of community feel where people can actually get together and meet other people. And it's been awesome. Like, it's something that I think is very important, because sometimes I think we forget that we're always kind of like out there, we're trying to sort of do something in this city or in this country, but we kind of forget that back home needs our help as much as ever. And I feel with this festival project that we're doing, I feel it's a huge way how on bringing communities together, seeing different walks of life, and even constantly meeting people that we didn't ever know ever existed in Leicester. But no, it's a good, huge project. It's just bringing like a bunch of people happily just through food and good vibes again.
That's what we love, man. So as you guys are listening, you've already heard like about just two of Zeyn's main projects that he's been working on. One that he was working on last year and one that he's currently working on at the moment. You can already hear the impact he's having on the world. Firstly, your local community and helping your own Muslim businesses. And secondly, even abroad, helping our Muslim brothers and sisters abroad, helping them with education, in getting them set up for a good life and giving them opportunities that we have here that they don't necessarily have. So, mashallah, that is phenomenal. So, how do you balance commitments and responsibilities? Like, how do you balance everything you've got going on at one moment?
Teamwork. Teamwork is a massive thing. I think it's very difficult to do things independently. With every single project I do, for my video production agency, I have staff. For my other projects that I work on, I have really, really, really beneficial partners. And alhamdulillah, like, I know a lot of people say that, oh, you should never work in partnership with people. It's very negative. But you know what? I think if you understand your strengths and your skills and you have partners that complement that in an opposite way, you're essentially creating a team, right? And I think that's been crucial just in terms of getting to how far we have come today, because I mean, managing 4 huge projects it takes a lot of time. It's not something that's easy. And I think having a beneficial team that actually works with you, not only supports you, but motivates you to go for a lot more further, has been really beneficial in where I am today.
Alhamdulillah. How do you find the right team members? Like, how do you know that they're the people that are going to help the vision? Because, mashallah, you've been so successful with it.
Yeah. I think my advice to people to find a sort of strong team is just don't expect much from people. When you meet people, I think having a low expectation right in the beginning, as harsh as it sounds to everyone that I'm working with right now, that's how initially it started. At the end of the day, it's also about taking risk. You take the risk, you invest in people, and I think sometimes it is something where you can always be apprehensive when it's the first time around, but once you've done it once, it just becomes easier as you do it. It's the same thing with, like, you see other companies, they hire staff, they work with other people. It's always anxious when you first do it, but as you do it more and more, you just learn to sort of vibe with the right people, and you just understand when someone's got like this sort of right goal, the right mindset, you just click, man. And I think that click, I don't know, I can't describe how it is, but it's always that first click, whether it is, you're meeting people for the first time, you just know that they're the right people.
For me, it's like the mindset. You mentioned it, the right goals, right mindsets. Like, because that's important to your vision. To make sure you achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, they've got to be sold on that same goal and vision as you, right?
Exactly.
So, and I think that's what most businesses find tough finding. Like, I speak to businesses on a daily, and my job is to speak to business. I do B2B. And they tell me finding the right staff is impossible for them, because the staff just want a paycheck, but they want the business has a goal to hit. So the only way they're ever going to get that is having the right people with the right mindsets that can help them achieve that. So, mashallah, do you know what? Genuinely, this has been something that's written for you, mashallah, because the way it's come about is phenomenal, mashallah. So, do you feel like giving back gives benefit for the generations to come? If so, why?
Yes, definitely. I think giving back is a huge thing. I think right now it's the reason why we're in such an advanced world right now. It's just because people have constantly given back. They've given back knowledge, they've given back ideas, and that's how we've got all the technology around us. And I think it's massively beneficial. It's something that we should definitely sort of resonate within our own children, within our own families, just because they're going to be the carriers of what essentially we've created, right? And they'll be the ones that advance it even further. So I think it's hugely important, man. And I think the more you give, the more you get in life. There's never been a time where, like, I've given someone knowledge, or I've given, say, money away to charity, and I've thought, you know what, I could have done with that £20 right now, or, why did I give so-and-so this idea? I could have, like, massively benefit from it. But I mean, call me crazy, but I get like really excited when I see people doing well. When Sully launched your project, you know, Waves of Positivity, I was so excited for him, man. I still remember your first day when you launched, and I was so excited for you guys, and it's inspiring to see where you guys are right now, man. And I think as a population, I think just having that sort of mindset where you're just happy for people and just happy for their success will not only make you a happier person, but you'll just see so many more blessings in your life, man.
Alhamdulillah, definitely. I was having a conversation with my colleagues about this because obviously in sales, people do better than other people, right? Someone's hitting £100,000 a year, and another person's only hitting £20,000 a year, and it's one of those things where we were having a conversation. I was like, genuinely, bro, if you're ever gonna do well yourself, it's firstly making sure you're happy for those that are doing well around you. Because if you're happy for them, they'll want to help you succeed, or that happiness in essence is going to make Allah want to grant you more, right?
Exactly.
And that's how you're going to end up having more. Because if you're just angry, you're upset, you're jealous, you're envious, the only result that's going to happen from that is, firstly, you're going to be a negative person to be around. People aren't going to want to work with you. And secondly, Allah's going to be like, well, you're ungrateful. I've given you this, and this, but you're not looking at that. You're only looking at what you don't have. So, alhamdulillah, that is so crucial. Being happy for others first before you even receive anything yourself. For me, it's a sign of your character. Like, you're a person I want to be around.
Exactly. Now, I think naturally as humans, we do always see what we haven't got rather than what we do have. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just, again, training your mindset just to appreciate what you have there already, and then learning to sort of strive for more in a positive way.
100%. And going off the back of that, it's the most important way we're going to build a better world. If you think about it truly, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, the capitalist mindset that we've all got now is, I need my money first, not he doesn't need his money. But if we can change that, we can be like, well, we both need our money. Don't you think the world's going to slowly, like, everyone together is going to work together? Because, like, I look at our local community, right? You'll see one corner house is massive. It's like a 6-bedroom house. The house is two doors down from that is like a 2-bed house. And they've probably got like 10 people living in that house, whilst that house has got 3 people living in. And for me, it's, alhamdulillah, that person probably worked hard for what they have. But at the same time, like, if we could work as a community, together to help each of us families, we can build communities bigger and larger. So, for example, I was watching this one video, right? And he was this rich Jewish businessman. He was like, oh, how come you guys have all got so much money? It's a very stereotypical thing for an American person to ask him. And he's like, it's because we do business amongst ourselves first. And I think as a Muslim community, that's definitely something we can work on as well. Like other communities, other religions, other faiths. If we can work together, we can build our community as well as other communities have. So my next question is, what advice would you have someone that wants to give back but doesn't know where to start?
I think for someone that doesn't know where to start, I think that the starting point will always be charity, right? So again, I think some people think, I can't even afford to give to charity. I'm like struggling just to make ends meet at home. Giving back can come in many ways. It could be, just to helping people generally on a day-to-day basis. And, they always say sadaqah starts at home, right? Mm. So support your family members, just maybe, if you see a sibling, for example, ask them if they need any help in anything. And I think you should always have sort of 3 types of friends in life as well. One that you can develop, one that's kind of on your level, and one that you can learn from. And I feel this is very crucial in helping you as a person, feeling inspired every day, feeling positive every day, just to give back and do more in your life and just to feel fulfilled. And for someone that, again, that doesn't really feel like they have the capacity, or they're still confused, like, I just don't understand how I can give back. I don't see people. We've got like social media right now as well, which is a massively powerful platform.
You know how powerful that is.
Yeah, exactly. And you can just literally start off on there. And I get a lot of people again saying that, why should we hop onto social media? It's so negative. But I've seen a hugely positive side of social media. And the thing is, with everything in life, I think there is a huge negative to it, but there's a massive positive as well. It's just about how you use these platforms. And I feel it's very important to understand these platforms for how we can utilize them in a positive way further down the line. But I think, again, you know, we've got it in our hands as well, man, hopping on social media. Again, just seeing people out there that need help and just supporting them, again, through charities, through your own families, and on social media. Yeah, man.
Talk about social media, you can check out Waves of Positivity and Zeyn Lambat on Instagram. So it's Waves of Positivity Official for our page. And then what's your page called?
Zeyn Lambat, Zeyn Lambat.
You can see all the positive work he's doing on there. You can find out a bit more about the project he mentioned earlier on with the school in, where is it again?
In Zanzibar.
In Zanzibar. Yeah. So,
you should come down, man.
Inshallah. I've got, do you know what? When I first saw it, I was talking to Sully about it. I was like, what is it? It's like a travel page where you can pay for a package and they can show you around the country. But when I saw your story yesterday, where you went into a bit more depth, I was like, this is a bit of me. So inshallah, if Allah wills for it to happen, inshallah, I'll be coming down as well. I'm sure the boys will be coming down as well. It's whatever's written for us, right? But I've definitely got the intention. It looks like a real great experience, and definitely something that do you know when you watch movies? It's going to sound really crazy. You watch movies, you see these kids coming out of high school, they're like, I'm going to go to another country and go build on myself and help people out. For me, it gives me that opportunity where it's like, I've never done anything like that before. Like, I've raised money for projects, but I've never been out to the project, seen it for myself, helped like build the project with my hands. And I'm like, oh, am I? Because I live in the UK. I live a very luxurious life, alhamdulillah. I wake up in my house with a roof over my head. I go to work, I earn my money, I get my takeaways, I eat my food, I spend time with my family and my friends, all the luxuries, right? Can I stick it out in a country where I'm building a school for people that aren't in the position I'm in? Can I go through that experience? I don't know. So I won't ever know without trying myself, right?
Exactly. And I think it's always that thing in life where you should always take the first step. And I think that's the reason we launched this, because then again, like, you know, people don't know how to give back. And I think we're in a society right now where people are so confused about, you know, where their money's going and, like, you know, whether things are happening. And I have fully trust in a lot of charities, and I know all charities are doing good work, but I feel sometimes people just have that inkling where, like, how would it feel if I did it myself? Mm-hmm. And that's exactly why we created what we did. And we just want to create the whole sort of travel because I love traveling. I love experiencing new places. And I like traveling in a way where it's more simplified, where you're experiencing culture. But at the same time, I feel this really gives you the opportunity to come back to your day-to-day life and really appreciate what you have there. Mm-hmm. And I think once you start to appreciate what you have in life, that's where the aspect of giving back comes in. Mm-hmm. Because once you're happy and content with what you have, that's when you learn to give more as well. So that's exactly why we've created this, because this is essentially, it's a life-changing experience. It's for you to go out, go do something impactful somewhere, as well as experience something great in life. So not only are we doing like the whole Build a School project, but we're touring people around, like, you know, different parts of the island. We're also doing like some really cool team building projects where you learn to sort of interact with people. You also learn how to cook food. So when you come back home, you've learned how to interact with people. You've learned how to give back. You've learned how to cook food. And you've done some really, really cool experiences where, you know, you've just had a full-on life-changing experience. So, that's the summary of that.
I'll be honest with you, I think everyone in Leicester should go on this, man. Learning how to give back, learning how to cook food. I know everyone my age, most men my age, right? I know we need to learn how to cook food, man, especially the Zanzibar way. So that sounds really, really good. And what kind of give you the inspiration behind doing such a project? Like, where did it come from? Were you just in Zanzibar and you're like, you know what, this is something I need to do? Or like, where did it come from?
So, I mean, I've traveled to Zanzibar quite a few times. I have one of my best friends that live out there. Shout out Abui. So, I mean, it's something that, you know, we've been sort of speaking about for a little while. But then again, I guess we weren't really at that stage in life where we, again, felt giving back was that valuable. We didn't really see the value in that back then. And then again, it stems on to giving back. Like, you may not see the value of it right now, but really understand it, take it step by step, and eventually you will see how important it is. So, I mean, long story short, I finished university, ended up not going down the scientist route, became a marketer, and through that, launched a few projects. Alhamdulillah, they've all sort of like, they're kind of running themselves now. And then I just felt like Zanzibar, there was a time right now where, like, you know, we saw a lot of poverty there as well. Previously, when I'd been in the past, like, we didn't really see poverty there as much. So I felt like through all the experience that I've had now, you know, working with different charities, working with different companies, and creating sort of, you know, impactful services, I thought right now was like the perfect time. I thought if I'm not going to do it right now, I'll never do it. So that's how it started.
MashaAllah. So we're going to move on to the next section. This is only a 5-minute section, or it could be a 15-minute section. Up to you, depending on how detailed you want to get into it. Because we've got a fun game to play. It's called the Freshly Grounded game. I don't know if you've ever played this game.
I have actually, yes.
Yeah, I really love this game because it gets people to be vulnerable, but also at a level where they feel comfortable. And it'll get the viewers an opportunity to, or the listeners, the opportunity to understand who Zeyn Lambat is and a bit more about you. And I think that's the best way to go about this, right? So the last question I've got for you is, tell us a detailed story about when you gave back to the community, preferably Islamic perspective, if obviously you feel comfortable, and think about the emotions, details, impacts, and attach any hadith or Quranic verses to make it more relevant. Like, so a detailed experience, a story from your life or something that you've heard potentially as well, that ties back to a bit of the religious aspect as well as the giving back aspect. And then and obviously if you've got any references in hadith and Quran that you know personally that you feel comfortable sharing as well.
Cool. I might not share a hadith just because I'm really strongly on the fact that if you don't say incorrectly, it's probably not right. So yeah,
however comfortable you feel.
Yeah. So I think giving back, right? So I think for me, a huge experience for me was the trip I explained earlier on, where we went from London to Medina by bike. And again, this we all did for charity. So we were working with a charity. We were fundraising for like an emergency response program. And we decided as a group collectively, it'd be quite cool, probably crazy thinking about it right now, but going from London to Saudi Arabia. And in the end, we performed Hajj as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a really, really cool experience. And yeah, I mean, we had a lot of trials and a lot of tribulations through the whole process. You know, it was a 2-month trip. You with the same group, and alhamdulillah, you know what, like what I thought would be the first sort of barrier, like, you know, people falling out, that didn't happen, surprisingly. There was more sort of wider things that happened. But a lot happened. You know, we went through 17 countries, and through that whole trip, you know, we literally did this trip not knowing what to expect every single day. We just knew the route we were taking. We didn't know where we were staying and where we were sleeping. Wow. We had a small, tight budget. So just to give you some context, there was 10 of us. We had £100 a night to spend on accommodation.
Oh, wow.
And £30 a day to spend on food. That's between all of us.
Yeah.
So that was the other challenge of it all. How can we make this happen with this budget? And at the forefront, you think, damn, this is impossible. But we know we took tents with us. We had to camp some days. But when we traveled, like, you realize, like, how much people are giving back in other parts of the world. And I think that trip has been a core trip just to help me, you know, really understand the value of giving back. Because there was some nights, you know, it was raining, it was pouring. We didn't know where we were going to stay. We were in the middle of nowhere. We didn't know what we were going to eat. And we just meet people. People saw us. They're like, "Oh, you guys are doing something really, really cool. Like, you know, you're going to like Saudi Arabia. You're performing Hajj. You know, why don't you come and stay with me at my house? We'll host you." So we were hosted by people in their back gardens. You know, in their homes. They let us, you know, eat at their house as well. And this was like nearly like in every 2-3 days we met someone who hosted us. So it was really, really impactful. Like when we were in Turkey, we met President Erdogan.
No way.
He invited us to his palace. We met him as well. And through his contacts, he gave us accommodation every day in Turkey as well.
Wow.
So it was a massive, it was super inspirational. And it was really cool as well, just to like sort of be in that position where you feel like you're a nobody and you get invited to like, the president's palace. So it's something that was really cool. But I think that that trip in itself, we saw so much. Like, there was, I'm telling you the positive sides, but there was some really negative sides where you really sort of understand the beauty of life. And I think sometimes negativity makes you understand like the beauty of life. Like I remember when we went through Bosnia, we went through like the sort of Serb territories, and they're very, very racist to Muslims. And I think this is the beauty of traveling as well, and really sort of understanding why you should give back. Because right now we see a lot in the news about, the Palestinian sort of struggles. And and it's just made you appreciate a lot about what's happened. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, man. That's a great experience. That's a once in a lifetime experience as well, man. So that's definitely something that we would, I want to hear more about, inshallah, off the air. That's something that I want to sit down go to Jayawala, sit down, have a cup of tea, speak more,
after
man.
Fasting.
After fasting. So, mashallah, I can only begin to imagine how much of an impact that had on you personally. And that's something I want to experience. And I think you've sold it to me. I'll speak to the boys, the Ways of Positivity lads. After Amsterdam, we're going straight to Saudi, right? Or cycling. 2 months. Take the time off work. Make it work. Bismillah. So, Joe, let's move on to the next side then. Let's play the card game. Now, I'm going to let you do the honors of...
So just to confirm, I pick a card, right? Either pass or I talk about it, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
And this is just you.
Yeah?
Yeah,
no, I'm
just
not doing
you.
it with yourself.
So obviously you can pick as many cards as you want, skip whatever ones you want, and just answer them and kind of go through it, however detailed or as brief as you possibly want to.
I played this for the first time, actually, just 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yes.
I bet it was a great experience, right?
Cool. That's a good question, actually.
If you're going to answer it, yeah, just show it to the camera very briefly so the guys at home can, whoever's on the feed can...
Yeah, so I've got the question here. So the question is, what does patience mean to you? Yeah, good question for me, actually. I was expecting something a lot more deeper. But now, patience, it's a huge thing. It's something I struggle with a lot in life. I used to be someone that, that just wanted things straight away. And generally as children, we always want things straight away. And it kind of carried on to a lot more sort of later years in my life. But I think through traveling, I've learned a lot about what patience is. And it's huge because the thing is, we live in a Western society right now where if you want something, you can get it straight away. Literally, no questions. Like you want food, you'll get it in 10 minutes. You want, something from online, you'll get it the next day or even the same day at this day, in this day and age. But I think through traveling, when you've gone to underdeveloped communities, good examples, I went to Sierra Leone. We stayed in the middle of nowhere. We were literally surviving on electricity like 3 hours a day. I had 3 hours to charge everything. And we literally had nothing. And again, I think in these situations, you learn a lot about patience. You learn about who you are as a person because you've not got the sort of noise from social media, from your phone, from online. And you realize how loud online is, as much as it is how quiet it is, how much of an impact it has on your life. And I think patience is a huge thing where you learn a lot about sort of who you are as an individual as well. So what I actually do this on an everyday basis, and I feel food and fasting is something that teaches a lot about patience. So I do intermittent fasting every single day. Again, a lot of people do it to lose weight. I just do it because I feel when you're staying away from something that you want, it teaches you a lot about patience and it calms you down a lot as a person.
How do you do it then?
So I just wake up in the morning. I just don't have any breakfast and I crack on with my day. I literally do all my emails, have all my meetings, and I just eat later on in the day. I don't have any sort of specific time, but again, it teaches you a lot about discipline, right? So I just have water. I just have some things that I
just need, and definitely a coffee. But yeah, just stay away from food. And I always give people like sort of examples, like, you know, if you ever want to go on a first date, you want to find someone's right for you for marriage, take them to a restaurant, tell the restaurant waitress to piss them off by giving them food late. And that's where you'll see someone's patience and their true character. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's like they say, you can understand what kind of person your friend is based on how they treat the service staff.
Exactly.
So it's very, very true, man. Very, very true. Gosh, shall we go on to the next card?
Go on to the next one. Cool. How could you be better with your finances? So this is the question here, guys.
Is that one you're going to answer?
Yes, I will answer actually, because I used to be someone that was really bad with my finances.
I still am, bro. I still am.
Yeah, I used to be someone that was really, really bad with my finances. But, you know, finances is a huge thing. And I feel it's something that we're not taught in school. It's something that it's very underlooked on. And it's something a lot of people struggle with. And, you know, you could be someone that's got a very good job, making lots of money. But if you're not good with your finances, it could make and break you. It's something that I give a lot of my sort of colleagues advice on. Just because, alhamdulillah, I was at a stage where I was really, really badly managing my finances. I used to just, you know, try and buy literally everything I wanted. But then again, I think this kind of sort of stems back to the previous question where you're kind of linking in patience with this, right? And you're controlling your needs and you're learning how to save. I think saving is a huge thing, but saving in the right ways where you're not just sort of, I mean, I don't see the value in like saving £1 here and there. I know, like, oh, you know, that milk cost like £1.30, you can get it for £1.20.
Nah.
Like for me, that isn't saving. It's not.
That's
really
why convenience comes before finance for me, man.
Exactly. That is more convenience, right? Yeah, I think, you know, generally saving is when you're sort of learning how to save big chunks. So when you're saving money, I think it's really important in like investing in the right things. So for example, myself, my form of investing is investing in businesses. A lot of people have different ways of investing. Some people buy gold, some people buy shares. Everyone's different. But I think it's really about understanding what really is an asset, putting your sort of money in that, being a bit more sort of patient with your lifestyle. I mean, I'm someone that sort of dresses very simple, but then again, you have people are sort of different, right? But I just end up spending more money on travel. So I'm kind of balancing myself with individuals who probably want to dress really well, but want to travel less. But I think we still have a small amount of money left each month. I think it's good to have a sort of budget each month and putting some money aside just to sort of hopefully hope that it just sort of grows in value, and that's done through investing.
All right, we've got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you the next question because I'm planning on going on a little holiday, hopefully, inshallah, after Ramadan. Would you recommend Spain, Portugal, or Italy? Which one would you pick out of the 3?
Italy.
Italy, definitely, yeah?
Yes,
Which
Italy.
area?
Italy. So I was there last year in the Dolomites. I was in northern Italy. So incredible trip, incredible place, and incredible food as well.
Bismillah, that's where I'm going. Well, guys, you've been listening to Aadil, your host Aadil from Waves of Positivity, and Zeyn Lambat, the one and only. We like to finish off our shows with a quick one-liner. What would your one-liner be to the listeners today?
Give back. Give back. I think it's something that, you know, it's really helped me right now, and it's the fundamental core in why I'm here today as well, and how I've grown as a person, individual. So yeah, give back. It's Ramadan right now, guys. You know, we've got such a massive opportunity to give back. So yeah.
Definitely, man. And my one-liner is, if you're going to be someone that has an impact on this world, the only way you can do that is by serving the people. If you can find a way you can help people, serve the people, only then will the world become better. Your impact is like a drop in a pond, and the ripples you see after that, or the waves you see after that, are from your hard work in serving people. So, Bismillah, let's start serving our communities, let's start serving the people, our wider community, the world, and help whoever we can.
Man, that's awesome, man.
Jazakallah, bro. That's ways of positivity for you, man. Alhamdulillah. So, guys, you can go find Zeyn Lambat at Zeyn Lambat, ZEYN on Instagram. Go drop a message, follow his projects and all the hard work he's doing. You can find us at Waves of Positivity Official on Instagram, Waves of Positivity on YouTube. And you can find the Radio Ramadan FM on 87.7 FM or DAB 9. Jazakallah khair for listening to